Good afternoon. It's been a lot. It's been a long morning, to say the least, for me. But finally got some time to myself. Hold on. Hold on. I'm live. Hold on a second. All right. So, just gonna tell about this one cat. Just gonna call him Jay Mason. Not gonna use his full name. And this is how that white Jesus can bring your whole world tumbling down. This whole situation kind of blew my mind, though. So, me being transferred to another joint up north, and he and I were the last to get on the bus. They load the bus from back to front, so we had the last two front seats. And so he had been in custody about that time, probably 6 months. He was found guilty, and he was given 40 to 60. And this man was like 60 years old as it was. He was quite older than I was. And he just kept, repeating that. He can't believe this shit's happening. He can't believe it. Well, you hear that shit all in the joint. You hear that all the time, but his sounded kind of different. Being this was going to be like a 5 hour drive. He just let his whole story flow. And I ain't asking for no details. He just let everything flow. And even though the bus was full, wasn't nobody trying to ear hustle and nothing listening in. They're doing their own thing. So for 4.5 hours, I listened to this cat's story, man, and then grandma and other people have always said, if you're gonna do something, you do that shit by yourself, because you're not gonna tell on yourself. You know the old saying, three people can keep a secret if two of them are dead. Yeah, if you're not gonna go out that way, do it by yourself. But anyway, this cat got apprehended about 7 months ago. He'd been in 6 months and was found guilty. And there's this burglary at this business. He didn't specify what kind of business it was, but apparently it had a. I suspect it was a jewel store because that's what he liked to steal, jewelry and high end stuff like that. But he didn't specify what type of hit this was. And there was a security guard, and it was a white security guard that ended up losing his life in 1972. He was apprehended. This was November 2014. He'd been in custody 6 months. Got picked up 7 months ago after his partner in crime during that burglary found Jesus and told everything. Now, he didn't get a life term. He got like what, 10 years for his partner crime. because Jay is the one that did pull the trigger and shot the guy. But he said from that burglary, by him fencing all the loot and everything, gave him enough money to start a legitimate moving business. And that's what he was doing when the marshals came and raided his house and his business, pointing guns at his wife and kids and tearing up the house and whatnot. And that's the day Mr. Mason's life just changed, not for the better. That was like 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. So his partners, if not, he's getting ready to come up for parole. I don't know if they're going to make him do 85% of that 10 years, but oh boy, no, he's going to die in prison. He's about to turn 61. And he went from having a comfortable life to living in a cell. Now, mind you, I only said a few words, throughout the 4.5 hour trip. I wasn't prying. I don't need to know people business. But this motherfucker was just gonna flow, let it flow. Now I've heard some other things about how motherfuckers got caught up on DNA, and I got a little funny one about that. I'll do that another time. I just got this letter from Mr. Mason. It says he's holding up all right. I'm put a few dollars on his books because even though he did the crime, he was a solid brother. I liked him. And until I got moved to another prison, we walked the yard. Not a lot because I'm not a big walker, and the yards were pretty much gang affiliated, so I wasn't trying to get caught up in that fuck shit. But when them youngsters weren't out on the walk yard and shit, we go and walk the track quite a bit. He was a he was a jogger and a walker. I mean, he could jog like a motherfucker. I don't jog for a goddamn. He said the food is getting worse in there. I bet it is because it was on its way down while I was in there. And they had another incident with being fed maggot infested food. That's MDOC for you. The Michigan Department of Corrections.